Welcome to the PHNX Coyotes podcast, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Steve Peters and Craig Morgan, as always, and we're very excited for the second day in a row to welcome yet another Arizona Coyotes player. Today, it is new Arizona Coyotes forward, Nick Bjugstad. Welcome to the PHNX Coyotes podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Nick, this is our first conversation with you. So can you maybe catch us up on what you've been doing this summer, any fun travel, and your thoughts on joining the Coyotes?
Yeah, been pretty busy this summer. Lots of weddings, a lot of friends getting married. So been doing that on the weekends and just training and skating on the weekday. There's a lot of different skates in the city here. There's a lot of NHL guys around the area. So pretty fortunate to be able to do that. Training with Travis Boyd at the University of Minnesota, or our old college. So it's good to train with him. And obviously I know him going into this. So he's kind of filled me in on where to live and kind of how everything kind of goes down there. So it's been good to hear that from him.
When do you expect to arrive in Arizona?
It's looking like Labor Day. So we want to get down a few weeks early, get acclimated. I have a couple little girls, so get them familiar, 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. So they're really excited, and I don't really think they know where we're going, but I'm sure they'll be thrilled when they see Arizona and how beautiful it is.
Yeah, maybe not in September, but after that, yeah.
Yeah, well, Nick,
That's true.
you talk about the move, and you're going from Minnesota. You grew up, you played high school, college, and got a chance to play for the Wild last season. Vastly different here in Arizona, climate, weather, all of those things. Does having a player like Travis Boyd that you played college hockey with, does that make that kind of transition easier?
Yeah, for sure. I know a few other guys as well. I know Schmaltz a little bit, and Keller, played with them in World Championships. I think that was 2018. So, guys through passing. That's just kind of whatever team it is in the NHL. If you've been in it for a while, you kind of know guys. And so, yeah, definitely having that bond with Travis and having played with him a couple of years at the U of M is great. So, just excited to join the squad. And Travis said it's a great group of guys, so I'm looking forward to it.
We were talking off air before a little bit about the Beauty League. I don't know if everybody quite knows what that is. So can you explain a little bit about what that is and just what the vibe is like and what you've been doing with that this summer?
Yeah, it's a 4-on-4 league in Minneapolis that most guys participate in from around the city that play NHL or college or in the minor leagues. So there's 6 teams, and it's twice a week, and it's in Edina, the land of the cake eaters, if you guys are familiar with that. But great arena, great facility. They kind of pack the rink in. The fans are really into it. Kids are really into it because they're getting autographs and getting to see different guys that grew up here play together and have a little fun. A lot of goals scored. So it's an entertaining league. My agent Ben Hankinson and Chris McAlpine run it, so it's a fun deal for all of Minnesota, and it kind of keeps you in shape.
Yeah, but it's one of the things that attracts players, NHL players, NCAA players to Minnesota in the summertime, because it's such a competitive league. You can stay in shape, you can get on the ice. I don't know if Craig Morgan knows this. Do you know what the championship trophy's named, Craig?
I do not. I don't
It's
remember.
the John Scott Cup. Yeah, exactly. So how is your team playoffs start next week, I think, in the Beauty League? How's your team poised for the playoffs, Nick?
Yeah, we've only had one loss. We got a pretty good squad. Former Coyote Pitlick on the team. Me and him kind of play together, and we got Eric Hall, Teddy Bluger, Justin Hall. It's a pretty good squad. So you don't want to get too confident going into the playoffs because a lot of these teams turn it on. You got Jake Gensel and Brock Nelson on the same team, so they can turn it on when they want. I think if they make the playoffs, I think they're struggling a little bit, but yeah, it's fun. The John Scott, that was the year that John Scott made the All-Star game, and his agent is also Ben Hankinson, or was. So just a lot of fun, a lot of foundations involved. It all goes to charity, and just a good cause for the whole city. It's kind of a win-win.
So besides the ice time, Nick, are you ramping up your training now, preparing for this season? Does that happen more when you get to Arizona, or are you in the process of that now, getting ready for this season?
Yeah, it's full bore right now. Trying to skate 4 or 5 times a week. So body's holding up good, more than it has in a while. It's feeling really good. Excited about that. So being able to train a little harder and more confidently, it's been great. So yeah, this next month is huge, but been on the ice basically since about late June and been training since the beginning of June. So nowadays you don't get much of an off season. You take a few weeks off, 3 weeks for me this year, and you get back into it. So these young kids, they don't stop training, so you got to keep up with them.
I had almost forgotten that Ben Hankinson was your agent. We could do a separate show just on Ben, and probably bring in Alex Goligoski to talk about how he supplies half of Ben's client base to him.
Yeah.
That's a good conversations about that. But I want to talk a little bit more about this time in Minnesota. In some ways, and obviously it's coming to an end now, but it had to be in some ways a dream come true to be able to play in your home state, be in the Winter Classic. We just describe that experience over the past couple seasons.
Yeah, it's been cool. It was weird with COVID. Jumping into it was probably better for my sake as far as tickets and outside ass. It was just super. Is an easy adjustment. A lot of people say coming into the hometown can be difficult with having so many family and friends, but it was I guess a little easier with COVID, but different with no fans. Obviously, great fan base here. So it was good to get them back last year, and having that outdoor game was pretty surreal. It kind of stunk for 2 periods, and then we kind of figured it out in the third, but it was below zero. So I know a lot of Arizona people probably don't know what that feels like, but in the Twin Stadium, Target Field was sold out. So you almost kind of felt bad when we were losing. It's like, gosh, these fans are gutting it out for us. And they stayed till the end, and we made it a pretty close game. But that was a very cool moment that, I couldn't even imagine when I was a kid being a part of. So I'm pretty fortunate.
We're going to stick with Minnesota for a little while longer because Petey wrote all the questions. Of course.
Yeah, I did. Let's go.
So back in 2009-10, you're named Mr. Hockey. It's a big deal in Minnesota. Some of the past winners, people may be familiar with Nick Leddy, Casey Middlestead, and former Coyote Aaron Ness. What does that honor mean? What sort of street cred does that carry when you're named Mr. Hockey in the state of Minnesota?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on who you talk to. If you talk to Sean Thornton, he used to always give me crap in Florida, and he'd say, "You're not Mr. Hockey." He's like, Gordie Howe is Mr. Hockey. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can't really argue that. So I don't know. It's a fun title in the state of Minnesota, but I was very lucky to play on a good team growing up. I'm from Blaine, and it was a very competitive, deep team that we had. We made the state tournament every year, never won it, but you go into the state tournament as a high school kid, you're in front of 18,000 people, and that's something that I think every Minnesota kid dreams.
We lost Nick's audio for just a second.
There you are.
There
We
you
got
go.
you now.
Yep, sorry. So yeah, kind of having that on top of the Mr. Hockey and the success with the team, that was great. So I don't know, it doesn't really get me any pull around here. I run a camp back in my hometown every year. That was last week, and I don't think the kids, they don't even remember. So I don't know. I think my grandma and my mom think it's cool, but
See, now Nick, this is my only moment. Like, I don't get to talk about Minnesota high school hockey much, but back in the 80s, my high school team actually played in the state tournament twice, and we played back when it was in the clear boards at the St. Paul Civic Center. So
nice.
To Nick's point, this is a big deal for a Minnesota kid to play in that tournament. So moving on from high school, Nick, so you go to play for the Gophers. So that transition, that step, and being able to stay in the cities for your college years, what was that experience like playing for the Gophers?
Oh, it was great. That was another thing. You just, it's hard to explain when you're a Minnesota kid. It's just kind of, you're in your own little bubble, which good or bad, I don't know. All I wanted to do was play for the Gophers. We didn't have the Wild until I was about 10 years old. So when I got asked to commit there, it was a no-brainer. My Uncle Scott played there early 80s, and that was something I couldn't believe, that I was going to be able to play for them. And when I came there, it was, first year was a little rough, and then the next 2 years I was there, we had some really good teams. So very fortunate to be able to play 20 minutes from home and basically grow up here until I was 20 years old, and then down to Florida I went. So it was a different world when I went down to Florida, for sure.
Nick, your Uncle Scott was actually a professional hockey player as well. How much of an influence did he have on your career, if any?
Yeah, he's been a huge part of kind of my upbringing and my skill set as far as shooting. He's still a shooting instructor, and that was kind of his niche when he played. He could rip the puck, still can, but I still work with him to this day. And I was very lucky from a young age to be exposed to someone as knowledgeable as himself, and he's kind of a big mentor on why I am who I am today. So yeah, definitely lucky. I think a lot of guys in the NHL have ties in some way or another, whether it's family or friends, that can really, really help you take that next step.
Nick, one unfortunate storyline that has followed you around is the rash of injuries that you've had to endure in your pro career. What's your long view on those injuries? How are you feeling now? And maybe what have you learned from having to go through all of that?
Yeah, it's something that I look back on. You can try to figure it out where I went wrong or what happened, and you can't really look at it that way. I've been fortunate enough to kind of learn from those injuries, and just that's a lot of adversity that I hadn't really faced until I started having those. And I had a back surgery down in Florida, and then Pittsburgh. I had some stuff go on there with my groins and my back as well, where the game kind of got put on hold for myself. And when that happens, you really learn a lot about yourself. You're more grateful for the game when you're back in it. And as far as training goes now, I'm definitely a lot more diligent, a lot more structured in how I go about my day, as far as making sure I'm healthy. So for me, long term, it was probably what I needed, just to learn about myself, and on a deeper scale, I'd say. And I'm not grateful for it, but I am. I do think it kind of helped me expand my mind and learn more about my body. So athletes go through injuries. It's just kind of how you handle them, and you try to stay as optimistic as possible. And now being 30, I think I can lean on those and just kind of move on from it. And I'm trying to put in the work. And like I said, I've been feeling as healthy as I have in years. So it's just exciting to be able to really go in the weight room and get after it.
You mentioned that you just turned 30 last month, I believe. What do you think could still be ahead for you in your career, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I feel good. So it's, I do feel the best I've felt in the last 4 years. So it's, for me, I think I could still get back to the level I was playing at early in my career. And, I can also, with that, I can bring another element, leadership wise, experience wise, to this team that, is pretty exciting. I looked at Arizona last year as a tough team to play against. We needed points with the playoff race, and you guys came in, I think it was our second to last game, and gave us nothing. I'm like, wow, this is a different Coyote team than I remember from 2 years ago. So just being able to add maybe an element of, using my body, maybe scoring a little more, and, kind of blending in with a lot of these younger guys.
The other thing, Nick, for me, and I used to be the video coach at the Arizona Coyotes for over 20 years. So I was in the coach's room, the management room, and your name is a name that has come up a lot in that room over the last, 5-10 years as a guy that would fit really well in Arizona. I'm excited to see you play here. I think this is you're a player you're a bigger body guy, gets on pucks. You have an offensive upside. I think you're going to get an opportunity here that you haven't had over the last few years. Have you had any discussions with Andre Tourigny about what your role is expected to be, and how do you see the fit for you in Arizona?
Yeah, I've talked to Andre a couple times, and obviously Bill, and it's it's been good conversation. I'm relaying to them that I'm not comfortable or satisfied with having played 9 years in the league, and I definitely have the growth mindset where I just want to keep getting better, which is a lot of athletes, and I think having talked with them and kind of seeing where they view me as a player, it makes me confident going into it. Obviously, I got to be ready, and I got to kind of reestablish myself. I was kind of in a fourth line role these past couple of years that could never really find it offensively, but I think I can use that role. I've never really seen that side of the bench until these last couple of years, and I can kind of use that to my advantage, just knowing what that feels like and having to play a different style game. Adding tools is never a bad thing. So, like I said, I'm hoping to score more. I'm working on a lot of different things with my shooting and puck handling. So, that never ends. Even I was, I'm obviously always working on that when I was younger, but you can always find ways to try to separate or get better than the year before. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, you're a 20-goal scorer in this league, and we had Lawson Krause on yesterday, and that 20-goal plateau is a big deal in this league, and you've reached that in your career. So what kind of a player, for the Arizona Coyote fans that don't know Nick Bjugstad, what can they expect out of you? What kind of player are you, and what do they expect for this upcoming season?
Actually, I played with Lawson a little bit down in Florida. He was a first rounder there. So I know him a little bit as well. But yeah, for me, it's, being a bigger body, being able to skate well. I think corner puck protection, kind of coming up with pucks, and thing I've been working on is around the net, obviously trying to dig in some goals there. And I think I could be a good two-way player for these guys. So, really trying to emphasize both ends. And I've had a lot of ups and downs in different areas. So I think the biggest thing is if you can learn from them and, use that to your advantage, that's what I'm hoping. So hopefully put more pucks in the net and helping this team out.
I got to ask, it's the question on everybody's mind. How do you feel about playing in a college arena? Obviously, you've played in one as a college player, but, it's no secret the Coyotes are playing in the ASU arena for the next few years temporarily. What are your thoughts on that? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be cool. I think it should be a rowdy arena, and, we're going to try to make the best of it. Obviously, it's nothing that's really happened, I don't think, in the NHL before where this situation has happened. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what the crowd brings.
Nick, I got to ask you this. It's just it's off the ice. Mike Rousseau and I are former colleagues, and he told me literally the quote was "nicest guy ever." That's what he told me about what we're getting in you. I'm sure you know Rousseau well. Everybody basically who was involved in Minnesota hockey knows Mike Rousseau, but this comes out a little bit in the work you do in the community. But can you sort of outline your approach to that side of the game, some of the work that you've done, and what drives that sort of commitment to be a presence in the community, even when you're not on the ice?
Yeah, I just look at a lot of the guys that I idolized when I was a kid and how they interacted and impacted my life and my career. I had a guy like Matt Hendricks who went to my high school when I was a little kid, and he was just the fact that he made it to college hockey and then pro. It was like, wow, there is a chance. So it's guys like that that treat you, that are giving back to the kids. I think that's the biggest thing for me, just interacting and, making them feel special and just treating everybody like human beings, whether you're an NHL player or a peewee. I think as hockey players, it's important for us to learn and teach and grow in different ways. So yeah, I think in the Minnesota community, especially, everyone's so passionate about hockey. So it's a great outlet to, get to the kids and, try to teach them a thing or two. The kids, I did a camp last week in my hometown, and the kids are great. And, you got to approach it with some fun too. And, I think a lot of times you don't want to give them the you got to work hard, that type of deal. They know that, but sometimes you got to have a little fun with them. And we did that at the camp last week, so I enjoyed it myself too.
You're brand new in this community, but do you hope to do the same sorts of things in Arizona?
Yeah, I actually just started my own foundation. It's called Goals for Kids. I'm wearing the hat right now.
Nice.
So I do anticipate. I like getting involved with the schools a little bit. Going visiting schools. The Goals for Kids is I want to teach kids how to goal or set goals for themselves, both short term and long term. And we're in the beginning stages of the foundation, but I've already had conversations with people from the organization in Arizona, and I'm looking to get involved in the schools and maybe the youth hockey programs down there. So definitely something that excites me, and kind of it's something different that I'm checking out, and I'm enjoying it so far. So yeah, Goals for Kids. You guys, hopefully I'll hear about it in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Nick, we can't thank you enough for your time. It was really great meeting you and getting to talk to you, and hopefully we'll talk again soon once you're here in the Valley in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, guys, thanks a lot. Looking forward to it.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Nick. Bye. Well, thanks again to Nick Bjugstad. I feel like we really learned a lot about him, kind of got a good sense of who he is, not just as a player, but as a person as well.
Yeah, the Minnesota nice.
Yeah, Minnesota nice. But, it's really authentic. He really cares about community. He cares about having an impact on other people. So that's what really came across for me in that one.
Yeah, I just feel like I learned a lot about Minnesota hockey, and that was all Petey's doing.
Easy, Sparky. No, you know what? I've said it all along, and I didn't do it too much. Didn't want to be a fanboy during the show, but this is a player that I've liked for a really long time.
You fanboyed over him.
I said it before. I think he's quick on the puck. I think he plays physical. I think his offensive upside hasn't been reached yet, even though he's played 9 years in the league. I think Arizona Coyote fans are really going to like what he brings to this team. He also brings an element of leadership, and we've seen guys come in last year. We talked about guys like Beagle who come in, and Roussel and Erickson who come and bring that leadership. Well, they need to get new guys to fill that role, and here's a guy that's been around the league, knows how to prepare properly. He's 30-year-old guy that knows what to do the right way. So I think he's going to be a guy that steps into those shoes and helps lead guys. I expect him to be a top 6 player, at least out of the gate for this team.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it's interesting when Bill Armstrong talked about him right after the signing, you look at his role recently as a guy who was a 4th line player, even a healthy scratch at times. Bill said at that time, I think he's most effective when he's in the top 6. So I'm wondering, when you look at their center situation, it's not exactly deep anyway. Maybe he gets a chance to prove it in a role like that here.
Yeah, and he's here. Clearly, he's here to jumpstart his career too. Like you talked about in Minnesota, he played 57 games last year. He wants to be an everyday player that makes an impact and has some ability to contribute to the team and to the game. This is a win-win for both parties in this. I think it's great for Nick, and I do think it's great for the Coyotes, and I think it's going to be a guy that I'm excited to see play, and I'm excited to see him play in that small building too.
He seemed genuinely excited.
I know this.
I think everyone's just so curious about
We're going to ask everybody.
Yeah,
and everybody says this, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody says, well, yeah. So we'll see. And again, I want to say one thing about the arena, Craig, because we talk about the arena all the time, and people I've talked to away from the show have said, oh, you're rah, pom-poms. No, this is a great college building. Fantastic for college. Is going to be some of the most electric college crowds in the country in that building. Great college building. Is it a great NHL building? No, I don't think I ever said that. This isn't a great NHL building. It's not. This is a building to get them by and bridge them to the better building. It was this building or nothing, this building or move. So they will make it work, and we're going to make the most of a situation that they have to deal with. And for the fan,
Great
it's going to
fan
be
experience.
an absolutely electric, unbelievable experience to see NHL players up that close. That's all I've said. Okay, clear the air.
Definitely cleared the air. Well, Nick talked about playing in Beauty League. Don't think there's odds for those games on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, unfortunately. But there's plenty of other things to bet on, including the World Juniors going on right now. So there's always hockey going on. You can bet on NHL futures already if you'd like. Of course, baseball is going on, and WNBA, etc. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. If you haven't already, use that promo code PHNX, make your first deposit, and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. We're going to let Craig go so he can, get off in his merry way.
He's got to rehab that hip.
Yeah, exactly. Do some laps around his house. So
I'm actually jumping on a call with Robin Leonard to advise him on how to get through the next few phases here and quicker recovery than he's planning. So that's what we're doing next. Yeah.
All right, Craig. Well, we'll see you a little later.
Okay, guys.
Bye. So we actually have our all-staff meeting this afternoon, and we're going to be playing pickleball.
Can't wait.
And I've asked Petey to be my pickleball partner.
I'm concerned because I am with Craig out with his hip injury, I will be the oldest player at the pickleball court. Now, after studying YouTube, I'm not so sure age is maybe an advantage.
I don't think it's
a big as detriment as people are thinking going into this. Because, you got Sean and Shane and the 20-year-old legs. We'll see.
Yep. I think we'll see. I think we could be a good team.
We will see. Also, fun thing to look forward to. I did lose Southwest bias.
Whoa.
And the punishment is that everyone on the PHNX crew, I have to go face a wall, and everyone gets to take a shot at my back with a pickleball. So another thing to look forward to.
Oh my gosh.
That's aggressive show.
Wow. I need to go back and
Southwest
watch that.
Bias, you definitely need to tune in.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
A little head-to-head debate show.
But PD, if we win at least one game, I'll buy you a Four Peaks beer.
All right. I love my Four Peaks.
I'll buy you a Four Peaks beer even if we don't win. How about that?
And I'll buy you one for just being my partner.
Just celebratory beers
because
for being active and
I want the Four Peaks. Clearly, it's about the Four Peaks. But I was worried I was going to be the kid on the playground that got picked last. Yeah. So I'm glad that I don't have to.
Yeah. PD walked in the door and I screamed, "Do you want to be my partner?"
So you know what they say: win or lose, we still booze.
Exactly. Win or lose, we still booze, and our booze of choice is Four Peaks beer. It's so delicious. There's so many different flavors for all types of beer lovers out there. You must be 21 to enjoy the beer or older and enjoy responsibly. But we also need our next winner of the Toast of the Month sweepstakes. It's so easy to enter. You just go to gophnx.com or click on the link in the show notes, and winners receive a $50 Four Peaks gift card, a PHNX shirt of your choice, and a PHNX annual membership. So it's a great deal. And if you don't win, you can sign up for an annual membership very easily at gophnx.com, and you'll actually get a shirt from the locker when you sign up anyway. So, a little win-win situation if you haven't already signed up. Plenty of great content on the website from Craig and all the other talented writers here at PHNX. We cover all of the Arizona sports. So there's stuff for everyone, and including some ASU hockey. So if you're just a general hockey fan, we talk about the arena all the time, but we're not just going to watch Coyotes games. We'll get out to a few ASU games as well. And the Sun Devil crew, I know, is planning on covering some of those games. So join our family at gophnx.com. PD.
No, I saw Chris made a comment in there where we talked about the arena and the 5,000 seats or under 5,000 seats. And we have mentioned it on this show before too. And I'm going to press and have Craig press on the Coyotes and management and find out, are there going to be other opportunities to watch games? Are there going to be watch parties? Are there going to be outdoor areas to watch games? Some other way that their fan base can participate in these games on game day. So we'll make sure, Chris, to stay tuned, and you'll get those answers here for sure at PHNX.
Definitely. By the way, did you see that move from Connor Bedard last night for Team Canada?
Ridiculous.
I was at Zips last night, and the game was on they were just showing highlights, And I didn't know who it was. And I was like, oh my God, who is that? And then they turned the camera and I could see it was Connor Bedard. And I was like, oh my God,
I know.
We
have to put up all season long. We're going to be seeing highlights like that on Twitter of his junior career. And his release on that shot where he scores the goal is
it was
elite,
just mind-blowing.
Yeah. And then you start talking about the what ifs. And I went down the rabbit hole today of the wheel of fantasy, the what ifs, the Dylan Gunther, the Geeky, and you go, oh my goodness. This just maybe if they get the ping pong ball luck, everything falls into place for this franchise. We'll see. But it was exciting to watch. I've been enjoying watching at least the highlights. And Logan Cooley tonight again. Team USA tonight. Back. So we'll keep tabs on Logan Cooley tonight and maybe talk a little bit more about tonight's game tomorrow, depending on what happens for Team USA. If you want to cheer on whatever team you want to cheer on, you can find your gear, your merchandise, all of that at foco.com. They're the leader in sports merchandise and collectibles. Foco's got you covered with the best Arizona merchandise. They've officially licensed gear for men, women, and kids, and everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to Crocs. Head on over to foco.com or click the link below in the description for all non-presale items. Use the promo code PHNX for 10% off. Well, we got to wrap up because we got to go play pickleball. Don't think the odds for us are on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, unfortunately. We'll come back.
Actually, I just checked. It's Shane and Sean minus 10,000.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
PD and Leah like plus 135. You have the second best odds.
Plus 135. We'll take it. We'll be back live tomorrow at 11 a.m. on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all of it. And follow PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter as well. Lots of great stuff on there on the daily. Please like and subscribe and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again to Nick Bjugstad for his time today. And lots of great guests this week. Always lots of great guests. So thanks to all of them for their time. Like we said, we'll be back tomorrow live at 11 a.m. for Friday fun. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow.